Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to another video. My name is Erin and this is Sheep Happens Ranch, because sheep happens. So this is the February group, I guess. There's a couple of nice big ones in here. So I'll do a quick little update of everything that's been going on here lately and share some of the projects that I've got coming up. So yeah, I guess a lot of these guys are 2 months or just under 2 months, like a couple of these smaller ones. But for the most part, everyone's growing pretty good. They're on the creep really good, getting good feed. They're really friendly. And yeah, they're looking quite happy. It's been an absolute muddy mess here the last couple of weeks. I haven't cleaned their pen because I didn't want them to get even muddier than they were. But I'm gonna have to clean out this bunk line sooner than later. Yeah, so these guys will get weaned in probably 2, 3, 4 weeks, somewhere in there. Just depending on how lambing goes, because that's the next update, is the ewe lambs are gonna start lambing here in about 5 days is when they're due. You guys are looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with some of their growth. Some of them not so much, but I have to remember these ones that are a little bit smaller like this, like they're not even 2 months old yet, so I gotta remember that. I do this every single lambing group. They get like around that 6-week mark and I go, oh God, they look awful. Like, what have I done wrong? And then all of a sudden, by the time they're 7, 8 weeks old, they're growing. So these ones that have taken off a little bit ahead of time, some of them will be singles, but the majority of them, like this one here is a twin. And well, the camera's gonna make her look smaller, but she's still growing good. And yeah, I do it every single lambing group. I even did it with those ewe lambs that are over there. Those are from December. I went, oh God, they just look awful. And then I weigh them and go, oh, okay, never mind. They look great. And maybe that just comes from trying to be so hard on myself when it comes to raising these darn little sheeps. Just trying to continually do better and the best that I can. But I always get so hard on myself. But then I think about it after. I'm like, it was a good thing I was hard on myself, because then that makes me call harder and, try and better the industry. And obviously people are liking my lambs, because my wait list for ewe lambs this year, which it went through the roof again, which is great. I appreciate everybody's interest in ewe lambs and, even bred ewes. Like, I've got so many people asking for bred ewes, but I'm really thankful for all of that. I'm super hard on myself, and it's obviously showing in these guys now. I gotta stop. I gotta start taking a little bit of credit for them looking good. But oh, Maggie's. So if our soils, get warmer and we get some moisture, then we should start getting some more green happening. Like, our trees aren't even out yet. Like, they're not even budding yet. So hopefully, crossing fingers, because I have some really exciting news. If you remember last year with all my different fencing videos and all of that, I had applied for the On-Farm Climate Action Fund funding through the Canadian Forage and Grasslands Association. Was fortunate enough to take part in that program last year, and it was absolutely great. Like, can't say anything better than that. And when the people came out to audit in the fall, just to make sure, see how everything went and kind of test my knowledge, it went very, very well. I was very happy with how everything went. Of course, I was very nervous leading up to it. But I actually have funding for the back portion of the property this year. So with that program, you need to complete it all within 1 year. And I knew, as the solo worker, and even having mom come out and help drive the fence posts, like the pounder, it does help, but everything was done by me. So I knew that I wouldn't be able to get all 35 acres done. So I only did up to that back fence line, kind of, sort of, I can't point it out, but in front of those trees back there anyway. Right, that last fence that I had done last year. So from that fence to right to the back of the property, I now have funding for this year. So there will be even more seeding and fencing videos if everyone wants to see them this year. hopefully do a little better job of managing it. Yeah, so that's kind of exciting news. And it can't come soon enough because I am ready for summer and fall and gearing up for riding my horses and like all the different things that I'm gearing up for. Just need Mother Nature in order to cooperate a little bit. Come on, babies. Come on. Hi, guys. It's actually quite surprising how friendly these guys are. I have not been graining them because I had them on second cut alfalfa hay, and it was more than enough for what they need. So these guys are all the December and early January born ewe lambs. And it's going to be tough to get them on video here because they are so friendly. But there are some poor doers, now this being one of them. And this is another one. And I actually have called their mother last week. I sent 8 ewes to call, whether being a bag issue or mostly bag issues, or if they were kind of on that bottom 10% for no reason of their lamb growth. Okay, now that the train is passed, I can keep talking. So what I did was when I entered their weaning weights, and then I weighed these girls again shortly after. It was about 10 days after. And anything that is under that 0.6 pounds per day, their mums were gone. So that was just, it's something that I do most years, but I was a little bit higher on my numbers. I normally go 0.55. So I went 0.6, and I mean, they are gaining, don't get me wrong. This is one in particular, the black one, and then her sister. So I kind of averaged it out like over the twins, like, because everything in here is either a twin or a triplet. So yeah, I just kind of averaged it out and made my best observations from there. There's the second one to this one. You can tell they're just not there and they're not growing quite right. And there was one other in here that I don't remember which one she is, that her mom has failed 2 years in a row. And when I say failed, she's still keeping them alive and she's still, raising them, but they're just not gaining like I want. I got a whole long thing that I'm aiming for, but that was basically the plan, is if they kind of stick in that median, but not too high. I didn't want my ewe lambs growing a pound per day. I just, kind of stick in that median for what I plan to keep and what I sell to other people for ewe lambs. So, and I will do, when I go to do the sort as to who I'm keeping and who I'm not, I'll bring you guys along with it just to kind of go from there. But just to put it in perspective, the overall of my wean weights for the whole group of December was 70.3. Now that is ages ranging from 11.5 to 8.5 weeks when they're weaned. So I think they did pretty good. The boys were obviously a little bit higher. They were, I believe it was 74.1 average on them, with a 0.9 pounds per day average daily gain. When I took the poor doers out of the ewe lambs, I think it was a 68.7 average with a 0.81 or 82 or something pounds per day when I took the poor doers out. So that's what I'm aiming for. I want to have nice uniform lamb groups, and I'll do the same with the February breds, and then also with the ones that are coming up that are due here in 5 days. And this is turning to be such a long update video, so I apologize everyone for that, but I figured I'd just get all this information out while I had it in my brain. But yeah, they're looking good. They're happy. I'm going to be switching them onto first cut hay, which has a little bit lower protein and, RFQ and all of that, fancy stuff. Again, important feed test your feed. So they're going to get probably back on a little bit of grain, not a whole lot, but right now this is just growth just on forage. So unless I can find some second cut alfalfa, probably going to have to give them a little bit of grain, which is unfortunate, but at the same time, I want them to grow. I want them to do the best that they can. And these guys being now, they're 4.5 months old. I don't really want to give them grain, so we'll see how it goes. My breeding rams are the same thing. I don't try and push grain to them. I just kind of let them develop naturally and then take those characteristics onto the next generation. If they're, you can make anything grow with feed, but if you don't feed them any grain and they're still getting good average daily gains and still, filling out, even better. You want to keep those going. The less inputs, the more possible profit that there is. Girls are the reason I need nicotine and caffeine to get through the day. My gosh. They were a bit ridiculous today, and I'm not sure why. Just again being so pregnant and so over life. But I normally wouldn't deworm them this close to lambing. Now, what I did was I gave their vaccines a couple weeks ago, and I did a FEMANCHA test, and they were just a little bit more pale than I wanted them to be. So I was supposed to do this last week when they were still 2+ weeks out from lambing, but here we are, 6 days from the due date, and I'm deciding to do them. So it was unfortunate. That was my bad judgment and poor planning, but I think everybody made it. And there's only a couple that actually have, good udders that are gonna go soon. So I'm not overly concerned that they're too close to lambing for this. Like, there's a couple that have 0 udders so far. So yeah, it kind of is what it is. Because these guys would normally be lambing in April, and now they're lambing, starting May 2nd. That's why I decided to deworm them ahead of time, and then they're clean and hopefully do not pass any worms along to their babies in the pens. Because these guys will stay in with their lambs until, probably mid-June, and then they might go out into the rotational system. We'll have to see how that all works out and timing and everything. So, but yeah, that's one other job off the list, even though we kind of jumped ahead in this video. Yeah, it's just kind of sporadic right now. And the reason I had to jump so far ahead is that I've had a few visitors today, and part of it is going to be for that funding for 2026. Part of that funding is seeding, so they won't actually pay for this portion of the manure spreading, like all my different piles that I have around the yard, but what they will cover is the seeding and the the in-labor costs for doing the harrowing and stuff after. So but part of that is I want all this manure and compost out onto the field, free fertilizer and free organic material. So that was the aim with that. So I met with that guy, and they are booked, I think today is the 27th, they're booked for the 5th, 6th of May, sometime next week anyway. So that'll be good to get that off the list. And then the other thing that I actually did today was I booked the mulcher. So last year, if you remember, or if you're new to the channel, I had this funding, this off-calf funding, and I had booked a skid steer mulcher, and then he ended up ghosting me like right as I was booking the appointment. So he was like, yep, like first week of June, I'll be there. And then, you know, long story short, didn't happen. So I ended up getting a mini excavator come out and do, you know, the bulk of the work. There was still a lot that I did by hand. I got dirt on my face. So there was still a lot that I did by hand. So this year I, you know, was right on it. I had him actually quote the job back in, I think it was February. And so once I got the approval email, I sent it to him, and, you know, I was like, what's the plan for booking? And he's like, yeah, send me a deposit and we'll get you booked in for June 10th. So got that all dealt with today. Some stuff for ordering for the funding, I got that done today too. So I've got, you know, a large amount of money that I spent today. So woohoo. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up this video. I know I didn't do all the updates that I wanted to do, but I'll keep it short and sweet, and try and put more videos out, because I know everyone's been asking for them, and I feel really bad about that. I've just been kind of tied up in a whole bunch of different things, and one of that is actually the traceability rules that have come into Canada, proposed traceability rules, I should say. So they are paused right now, but I am on kind of the, I don't want to say the forefront, but I'm one of the people that is really against them. So I'm against the proposed rules, I should say. It's not that I don't believe in traceability. Rephrase that. So anyway, yeah, I've been one of the people that have been in meetings and, you know, all that other good stuff. So thankfully I will be able to kind of put that on pause for lambing here. I do have one more meeting with the Minister of Agriculture, and hopefully that will work out and get some more answers and questions and, you know, solve this problem. So that's the aim. But anyway, now that I've digressed a little bit, there will be more videos coming out, especially with all these guys gonna lamb. And again, they're the reason I need caffeine and nicotine to get through the day. Ewe lambs are a bit of a headache when it comes to lambing, or at least Dorper ewe lambs, or my Dorper ewe lambs. I'm not sure. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.